Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So good to have all of you here. So everything, everything, everything is it already. And the me feels like an exception. It it somehow it's this very seemingly this very powerful dream of separation from what always is always ever present. It doesn't move. It doesn't say anything, even even though it appears to be saying things. So for me, it's all about the words. Me lives in a world of words, and words have meaning, and they're important. And this meeting isn't about that at all. It's not about getting anything. You're not going to get anything. And seeking is all about getting. I mean, if there wasn't a pot of gold supposedly at the end of the rainbow, you wouldn't be hiking up the mountain. It's that carrot that keeps that seeking, just, maybe I'll get there someday. And that can somehow dissipate. And it's revealed that there never was a you in the first place. And so that explains, in a way, why you can't be free of the me. You can't be free of what doesn't exist. The me is sort of this heavy felt, energetic sense of feeling separate. It's completely convincing. It's just, and so this is why this message is all about resonance. When you hear the words, all is this, all is this. Here, when I first heard it from Nkosi, there was just this spontaneous, just like something in me just said, Eureka. Because name something that isn't this. Okay, go ahead, Nina. You can unmute. Sorry, I just mute. Do you want to unmute and ask? Yeah.
I have a burning question all day today about blocks, like jealousy blocks and feeling of missing out blocks and feelings of being left behind blocks. And the healing is to release those blocks or to have them melt away. Like, so, but even the blocks, I'm beginning to understand that the blocks are still this as well. And there's nothing to get rid of. Then why are all these healing programs and the New Age movement and spiritual seeking, it's all about removing the blocks, the love's presence, like as if we got something to do.
Yeah.
And it makes it feel like it's not that, like the blocks are not all this, like you got to get rid of the blocks. But the blocks are an illusion, just like the me is an illusion. So how can you get rid of nothing that doesn't exist in the first place?
And who would there be to get rid of it?
Exactly. It's a real screwed up. It's kind of screwed up. Like all
Yeah.
this investment in programs and workshops, and it's a lot of money spent, a lot of time spent trying to work on ourselves and release the blocks, release the negativity, be more positive. Um, it really doesn't feel very good in the end. It feels like there's something still, there's still something that's missing out of that equation, which is there's nothing missing.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's still belief that the blocks are something that's, I don't know how to, they
You,
need to,
you say you say blocks?
yeah, blocks are like, that keeps, that, that blocks is like the veil. The veil, you know how the veil, we've
Yeah.
been promised that the veil will fall and then
Yeah.
we'll return to heaven's presence or something.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying not to laugh because
I know.
no, you're good. Because I was there, like I was laughing because I was thinking that's like I could used to be able to relate to that. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
blocks or man, that word veil. Oh,
Yeah.
veil. Yeah,
There's
we're
a real veil.
yeah, there's this veil. And until I get through, and it felt like there was, but now as you're talking, I'm just giggling because it's just ridiculous. It's just another fancy concept. It doesn't matter how real it feels. That's what gets us. It feels real, ergo, it must be real.
Yeah.
Well,
And I can
th-
see blocks in other people.
right.
Like,
Because if you take yourself to be a me, a separate me, then you assume there are separate other people that are blocked up too.
and we're all in this soup of blocks, and everybody's trying to get out of these blocks. And it's perpetual. And that's why I'm here. Like, that's why I feel done. Like, there's nothing left to invest in. And there's a eureka moment. Like, it feels like hallelujah. But at the same time, I feel like there's just all this time wasted in trying to get somewhere or trying to heal people. Like, I've become, a miracle energy healer, so to speak. Like, and I don't want to, you know, make that sound trivial, because Jesus was a miracle healer, like, and there was no self there. In, like, the saints don't have a self, right? But they have channels to help bring healing, to others. But what is all that about?
Well, if I can say, Nina, there was no one there's time to ever get wasted.
Okay. Which is kind of like a block in a way, a belief that there's time to be wasted. It's a fantasy.
It can feel that way. The me can feel like it's wasting time. That's an appearance.
Yeah.
And if that's happening, it's just what's going on, but it doesn't mean anything. It's still just what's going on because there's only just what's going on. So like, for instance, right now, there's just this Zoom meeting. This this is it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else happening. So this is an open meeting. Everybody's invited to participate. If you have a comment or question, please feel free to unmute and jump in.
In response to Nina's sharing, Nina, I call
It's okay.
it Nina's sharing. I would say that I spent, I think, about 40 years in that paradigm. And, people sometimes ask, so, what changed? Was it, are you happier? Did your conflicts, your neurosis or your unhappiness resolve or change? And I'm just going to leave it at saying at the time, there was always the impression that it did. There were changes, but it was never clear, whether part of it was also maturing or life situations change. I mean, there were many factors involved. And I'm just going to say there can be some value to all that. But yes, it was based on a concept that there was a me. And especially in this case, I had this vision. Arthur Chanoff at the time from Los Angeles, the founder of Primal Therapy, he had this marketing slogan of the post-primal patient. And the post-primal patient is something, like the awakened or enlightened person. It's like when just everything is totally, you're just happy, there's just no more suffering and so on. And I bought that for a long time. And that did never occur in that sense. So.
Yeah.
I remember, Michael, you shared a lot, like this intense seeking. I think that's what comes up, an intense seeking and being convinced that there is going to be, the golden pot at the end of the rainbow.
Hey, listen, I got about 4 or 5 boxes of non-duality books I'm willing to let go cheap.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
They're all your favorites. I Am That, Ramana, Jeff Foster.
I have that one. I'm reading it right now. I Am That.
Good luck. I could never get through at 9. I tried 27 times to get through I Am That, and I probably made it to, I flipped around and
yeah.
Whenever you say that, Michael, I just have to report that I absolutely love that book. I read it 6 times. I ordered another copy because the one was worn out, and it meant a very lot to me. Anyway, just saying.
Yeah. Everybody, gets their own gas mileage.
Yeah, that's it.
But he was saying that There's nobody here, like,
Well,
Yeah.
that was, and again, I'm just sharing the response
Yeah.
from here. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's supposed to be this way for anyone else. But here, there was this promise that this something in the future. I was going to read something, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
really pearly, just the shiniest quote, where you just light up, you have to put the book down, I mean, that was, but a big one, and what I began to notice was it never lasted, that those little hits were temporary, no matter how shiny and mind-blowing the quote was. And something here honestly just ran out of gas. Like where there was a time where I would, be reading non-duality books, morning, noon, and night, between YouTube non-duality videos. And at some point, something in me just lost the ability to read. Like it just felt secondhand. And so spontaneously one day I just could never read any of the books ever again. Like I've never picked them up. And that was about 4 years ago, I want to say. Yeah. Because it just was too fresh, too immediate to sit and read it in a book, somehow put me in my head.
Mm. Yeah. It's talking about this, and
That's
you
it.
can't talk about it.
Thank you. That's it. You're right. That's what it was felt here. It was like someone, well, tell me about France, rather than just being in France yourself.
But on the other hand, all those books you read over the years spontaneously led you to that point, to that precipice, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. So those books will be good for someone else. Yeah.
No, if I had any compassion, I'd burn them all.
In the fire.
Because the me loves, there's nothing wrong with books. I mean, Nkosi and I wrote a book. They're beautiful. But there is a kind of because it happened here. The falling in love with reading about non-duality somehow keeps the me going, because there's always another book, another teacher, another speaker, another juicy morsel.
Mm-hmm.
But until there isn't.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, but I can't say it was because we're reading. There's who can say.
Yeah, but that's also, all of that is also this. So if there's a block that you're trying to heal, or books that you're reading because you're a seeker, to think that when we have the enlightenment, or when we let go of it, whatever we're talking about, that somehow is better than the search, goes into a state of duality. It's all happening. It's all just this. So if one is seeking, reading books all day, and I'm similar to what you do, Michael, I do a lot of searching and thinking I'm going to get somewhere, but that is also this.
Yes.
So even if I keep searching forever and going crazy with it or whatever, that's also this. And if I don't get it there, get it, whatever that means. If I don't get it there, I'm not going to get it anywhere else, except maybe relief when I let the books go or something like that.
Well, that's the kind of cosmic fucking joke. There's nothing to get.
Right. So I read duality because it apparently gives me something. Like there's gas in the car, so to speak. I keep going. And
Yes.
then when the
Beautiful.
gas is gone, you
Yeah.
stop.
Listen, you're already not doing it. You have no choice. If you're
Yeah.
gonna read, so there's no one there to do anything already.
Right. Yeah. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. It's just what it is.
And that's it. There's just the me just can't there's no room for a me. Listen, in just what's happening, there's no room for a me to control anything because there's just what's happening. But there can be a sense, there can be a feeling of a me, and that too is just what's happening.
Right. Wow.
So someone was saying something to you earlier, Nina. Nina?
Nina.
I don't know who it was that responded that, all these teachers and all the non-duality and all the things we've spent tons of money on and time on, that too was no waste. That there's no right or wrong in any of this. And so that's what we do or did or are doing. And it's not better or worse to read or not read non-duality books. I mean, it's just what seems to be happening now, whether we are or aren't.
And even coming to this satsang, what do you call it?
Call it a webinar.
Well, even this is what's happening, and yet the me goes, I'm investing time. But that's just full. That's not even true. But I hear it. There's a voice that, like a recording, and it's like, oh, but I'm investing time in this, and it's like it's seen through. It's like just words. It's just this too. Everything is just what it is. But there's no. This is just what seems to be happening. But it feels like there's more joy or something. There's more contentment or there's more happiness to be here.
Yeah.
There's more, there's just a fulfillment here. And there's no story, which is such a relief. Because, I think I've been overdosing on stories and I'm just sick of them.
What
but nobody's sick of them. It's just a coming to that, like no more gas there.
One aspect that is experienced here is that what is enough and it's complete, and there isn't anything, it doesn't have to be different. I would say that's an important aspect, to realize that it is, I'm going to use Michael's favorite word, it is already, and it doesn't need to be different.
And even an argument is what it is.
Huh?
Even an argument or a debate is already this already.
Yes.
There just aren't any exceptions.
Right.
That's the thing that the me is going to sort of, don't pay attention to that. Look here. Because it's when when all is this without exception already.
There's nothing separate. Even judgment isn't separate. Or fear. Sometimes there's some words or feelings that feel separate or like an exception, like fear, or there's all these instructions about not to be afraid. Like you gotta try to figure out how to live without fear. It's all these instructions, and it's just it's all just this.
Just to tell a story. So let's say something arises that, like, to use your example, Lina, that doesn't feel like this, like fear, right? You're saying that feels like an exception. So Like the first thing is like it's already labeled as fear. Like that
Right.
already is a knowing of what it, oh, I know what this is. This is fear. Well,
Yeah, Michael, I think what you're pointing at is that fear doesn't really feel separate. The feeling of fear does not, there's no separation in the feeling. The separation is in the story of fear. Yeah. And I mean, when we talk about me just is just this somehow living in the story. The one who lives in the story is the me. And then we're kind of looking at, okay, well, that isn't here. What's here isn't the story. Yeah, anyway.
It lives in the imagination, which is this too.
Yeah. But there's no separation in that.
No, because it's made of nothing.
Yeah. Which is this.
Yeah.
Same old this.
It's like stay at the drawing board and don't leave.
Well, you can't leave.
No.
There's a story of leaving, and then there's a story of getting involved with that story, and that's the me. And then you have, but that's just a
Then
story.
you have to come back to center, come back to awareness, come back.
But it's all story. It's all the same
Yes.
story.
yeah.
Yep.
And so that's what seeking is. Seeking is a story.
Right.
What are you doing today? Oh, I'm playing tennis. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm seeking. Oh, I should have said pickleball. Sorry, Alice.
That has been such a story, that seeking for so much of my life that these last couple of weeks, I have just been so enjoying funny shows on TV. I have been laughing and I'm thinking, oh my God, I really should be reading Michael-Dan-Nkosi or watching a video or doing something like that. And there's almost some guilt that goes with it.
Oh.
And I'm just really been enjoying myself. And it's like, it's kind of letting myself off the hook or something. I don't know, but it feels almost odd.
Yeah, enjoying the movie is this.
Yes.
It really is truth. It is freedom itself to be anything and unlimited. It's just unlimited.
Yeah, it just won't be labeled. So whatever
Right.
you say or I say or Nkosi says or anybody says, that's not going to tell you what it is.
Right. Yeah. I remember Byron Katie said, a cat is not a cat. It is just called a cat. It's just a label.
Well, yeah, that was my post from yesterday with Nkosi. We did a FaceTime together and he told me his favorite food. Well, no, I asked him. I said,
Right.
Nkosi, what is your favorite food? Just out of the blue. And he kind of laughed, as he does. And he thought about it. And any guesses as to what he said before I tell you?
No.
Chicken.
Oh.
He said he likes chicken.
Yeah, just
That's a good pick.
there's a judgment here. The eye thinks it knows what everything is, like what knows what a chicken is. It knows what a living object is and a non-living object is. Within the illusion.
It's more like something comes up and labels it, but you suddenly notice you're not doing that. Or the body will get up to go to the toilet, and you realize somehow, I don't know how this is. It's almost like I just want to say, okay, you guys, I'm going to be quiet now. Someone explain to me, please, what's happening right now.
Just labeling.
But what
Breathing.
is like sounds, right? Sounds, images.
Yeah.
Right. So the labeling is going on all the time. That's what we call the story, the experience of me that knows what's happening and how it's all working. But the labeling doesn't actually do anything to this.
Right.
It doesn't actually have an effect. It's a great pretender, It can really create.
Convincing.
Yeah, exactly. It has a great line, but it doesn't ever actually show up in this. It's only stays in its own story.
Right.
And that's where the me is in the story. It's all the same thing. And yes, it's all this too. So that's great. But what's here is just the freedom, like you're saying. There's no escape from that just freedom, which cannot be limited ever by any label. The labels show up, but they don't have any power. They don't have any, they're just, a bunch of bluster and, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just this here. What's the label for this? You can call it a Zoom meeting, call it whatever.
Another, you
It's a little
can't
story.
speak about it. Yeah, I can say unity even.
Yeah, that's a good label.
There's just a sense of unity, but
Right.
another label. Unity of what? A collection of what? Or, not even a collection, but.
The cats aren't thinking about unity. I don't think you could get them interested in an idea of unity.
Yeah, unity has a lot of preconceived assumptions about it, like people have to get along and then you'll have unity.
Well, it's part of the story of me.
Yeah.
Which is, as you started, you said at the beginning, I'm blocked and I need to get, because I'm not united, I'm not unity with everything. There's a block here. So I need unity, because unity is like a real thing. Right? What is we really, and I need to get, I need to get there. That's the story of, that's the imagined story. But what, okay, is there unity here? This is what's here. It's not unity, it's not disunity, it's way beyond all of that.
Right. It's an appearance of unity. That's because it feels comforting in a way. So, but that's just an appearance of comfort. Everything's an appearance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
it's
You-
all
you-
it's all this though. It's not when we say it's
Right.
all an appearance, like something different. It's all an appearance that somehow is something different than what is. So it's not just all an appearance, it's all everything, and therefore it's all, I'm using the word holy or beautiful, Nkosi would say. It's all beautiful. It's just a story. It's just this, or it's just an illusion, or it's just a me. No, they're to be elevated as all of this. So the lowly stories that we tell is this. is full expression of this.
My guess or my take was that the appearance, this appears probably to everyone in a unique way. We all have different labels and different stories about what is happening. And Nkosi would say, yeah, it's this appearing as that, or that appearing as this. So it is ultimately this, but the appearance it varies. It's what labels and stories we put on it.
Well, it's the stories and labels that all this puts on it, not we put
Yes.
on it, because
Yes.
there's no we.
Yes.
So if everything wants to label, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's like labeling has become an art form. All of this is labeling itself. So can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's an expression of this. So it's already has the stamp of approval.
Which it doesn't need.
No, it doesn't need, but
that's right.
it's already the case.
Because there's nobody out there that stamps anything or
No, I
needs to
know.
stamp anything.
I
Or
know. I know. But if somebody's crying and then another person says, "Oh, don't cry." I mean, that's just what's happening. But and it's already happening, so it's all okay anyway.
right.
There's nothing that's not okay. So if somebody's crying and the other person says, "Don't cry," that's all okay. Hmm. Wow.
Of course, that just goes on, and then somebody else says, but I prefer you don't cry, or it's okay for you to cry, and we could go on ad infinitum about, and that's what the human race does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the answer is just silence, like just there's nothing to say.
Or the answer is to tell the person to stop crying. Same thing.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Whether you're speaking or not speaking, it's all okay.
It's not you doing it anyway.
Right.
And ultimately, there is no answer. It's just all happening.
It just seems so
There's no question either.
there's no rhyme nor reason. It just there's no order in it or anything, even though it seems ordered in some ways, like in nature, things seem ordered, and then in other ways it seems all chaotic. But that's just a perception labeling again.
You could say this is perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flawlessly flawed.
Be funny if we started arguing.
I like the word carelessly cared for. I've been saying that a lot.
Yeah, I like that too.
But there's nobody to be cared. There's nobody there. It's already the case.
Yeah, but the caring is important somehow that we could never explain.
Yeah. Feels more natural. And
Yeah. part of the mix.
When I come here, it feels like there's a residence, and to me, that residence feels cared for.
Mm,
It's the,
nice.
it feels what?
Nice.
It feels cared for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
care.
And I,
Yeah,
that's nice.
and we're all clueless about it.
Yeah, one of the things that Nkosi, another thing that he shared with me was that like he could have a headache or a body ache, and he says, you know, as soon as you start talking about this, it goes away. That
Oh,
was his report.
that's rings true. That's where the power is in this. It feels like power. I don't know, whatever word you want to call it.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean, Michael, what Nkosi said. When he has a headache, say just to that. And then when he focuses attention on this,
Yeah, it's just that it's so joyous. There's so much joy and love. I mean, it's certainly not the money why I'm holding this, meeting. It's not to get rich. It's the joy of it. It's the love of doing these meetings. There's a resonance, and it's so beautiful when you see it. This resonance, others, not many, not many, but there are a few that speak sort of just to tell a story, that speak your language, that speak this. You can feel it from the heart. It's not about understanding. It's not about the words. And, most are interested, which is fine, in the story, in the words, in getting, but there's a few oddballs for whatever reason that they just want peace.
Yeah. And this is the container for peace, I guess.
Yeah, who would have thought? Nothing. Nothing
Yeah.
is the container for peace. How beautiful.
Nothing.
And me is looking for something, not nothing.
and and not to put a damper on it, but even though you're doing this because you feel strongly urged to do it, it wouldn't hurt to get donations, would it?
Well, thank you, Alice. No, I appreciate that. If I'm being honest, I don't get that many, but there's one person I have to single out, and that's Leighton. Yes, Leighton, you. That guy has sent a donation every week, whether he comes or not. So thank you,
Aw.
Leighton. It's really, really sweet.
Well, when you think about it, money is just love.
It's
And
currency, right?
yeah, and that, it's all love, man.
Well, it's really appreciated. Well, I hope you're not too disappointed if Nkosi doesn't show.
He's here with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Leighton and Michael. Appreciate that remark.
And
Oh.
Kosi's out getting chicken.
Ah, you should say that. Here he comes. Say that, Leighton. Just, man, my favorite food is chicken.
Hmm. I have another question about time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a sense that time is really changing
Yeah.
than my memory of time. My memory of time went slower. And
Yeah.
now it's really ramping up. Like like this day felt like an hour long.
Yeah.
It just feels like, what happened? It's just mind blowing. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's anybody's else's
I
experience.
don't know. Maybe Nkosi will have a few words to say about time. Hi, Nkosi. Welcome.
Hi, Nkosi.
Hi, Kosi.
Go ahead and unmute.
Hi everyone, hello.
I'm Cozy.
There is no time. Time doesn't exist, but it may seem to exist in the story. And in the story, there may seem to be something going on, something being achieved, but it's just a story. It's just a story. But this as it is already timeless. Yet what seems to be time is just an appearance in it. It's really nothing. Everything here is appearing and disappearing. Nothing really matters to this because everything already is an expression of this. But the one who seems to be an experiencer of that which seems to be happening is already not there. There is no real separate self who can get anything, who can know anything, who can become anything. There's just simply what's happening, just this. Listening, talking, thinking, laughing, It's so simple, even beyond the word simple, it's just, it's already effortless and obvious to nobody. So really, you cannot find time, except as an imagination, except as a thought, or except when you watch, when you look at the watch, or the cell phone or the computer screen, there seems to be numbers there. And because right now, it's Thursday, but there is it's Wednesday. So what is time really? So it's really nothing. This as it is can never be known. It can never be understood. It can never be gotten. Because there is really nothing outside of this to get it, to know it. There's just this. Even appearing as what seems to be the knower. But there is no real knower. So this is unknowable or unknowing appearing as everything already. So there's nobody here who's talking, and there's nobody there who's even listening. There is no seer already, and nothing is seen. There's just seeing. And this seeing is already empty. It's not a man or a woman. It doesn't have gender or any agenda. It's not trying to become anything. It's not trying to convey a certain point. It's not trying to fix anything. It's just there. It's not a baby. It's not a man. It's not a human being. It's just there. It's empty. So it is already timeless as it is. This being is timeless. There's no time here. So everything may be seen here as just an appearance or an imagination, but nobody is imagining anything. There's just this appearing and disappearing. So everything is beautiful because everything is an expression of that which can't really be known. And this isn't talking to anybody. There may seem to be a resonance, happening, but it's just resonance. Just this resonating with itself or with its own self as everything. So in the story, there may seem to be somebody who's doing something, fixing things, going there, moving up and down. It doesn't matter. This doesn't mind. This is not trying to get rid of the story. This isn't trying to get rid of the me that doesn't exist. Because everything is this. So it's beautiful. That's what seems to be coming up here. Right?
Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening? Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I want to thank you, Nina, for all your questions and the discussions tonight. Especially you brought a lot to the discussion table tonight, and that's much appreciated by me.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Nkosi.
Everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.